¿Qué pasa?
Hi, guys.
We've had a little bit of a holiday hiatus.
Yes, we have. We had Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And you've been working extra
A lot.
hours, 20 extra hours a
Too
week.
much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Trying to quit working for the man.
Yeah, and allergies. If we're gonna complain about things, I'm having bad allergies.
This is our complaint.
So I'm a little bit struggling today. But
So bear witness.
so bear witness. Happy Sibtards.
What's up? It's Unfringed. How y'all doing?
How are you guys doing out there?
All right. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk
There's
about.
so much going
course.
on. It's crazy.
Uh,
I mean, from UFOs to Putin to
Putin.
CEO.
CEO.
Let's talk about the CEO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanna?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Pretty
And
cool.
we're both kind of going back and forth as like, so the CEO of United Healthcare was murdered,
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But
And some people, I guess, think it's a bad thing. I think the guy's going to end up being a hero.
yeah, well, I saw that
I mean,
too.
it is a
How,
bad
how they
thing.
were talking about like people and their comments on social media, and they're like, "Well, good."
I know. Which I
But-
guess we shouldn't celebrate anybody getting murdered.
No. But
However,
they said like I want to say it was in the 30s, but it was like the denial rate from United was like
Yes.
32%, maybe
Yes.
36%.
yes. So, and which is the whole point, probably, is to
Yeah.
bring attention to what's going on with this United
Our
healthcare system and all the
sucks
healthcare
butts,
systems.
dude.
I know, and I don't think I ever, obviously, I didn't, I mean, it's weird because we went from like never having health insurance through our mom because she just usually couldn't afford something like that.
Right.
And for some reason, mom wasn't one to count on the state either. I don't know if you've noticed that, but even if we could have benefits,
Yeah,
she never got them.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's strange.
She
but
would just eat
she would-
cucumbers and
yeah.
spinach.
Yeah, instead of getting like a grocery store ticket or something.
She was a holisticer.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
And minimalist.
Well, yeah.
Minimal food.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, my point is that it's interesting
The
to
healthcare system.
to go over it and to see actually what's happening. And I don't know, it's so sad
Yeah.
because other places have free healthcare system. We don't necessarily need that, but there should be enough money and taxes and wealth in America that we could have a nice balance of
Well, I was listening to, maybe it was PBD, I can't remember exactly. They were saying that like the United States spends the most money on healthcare than any other country, and we live like 5 years less than everybody
Yeah.
else in other.
yeah.
Dude,
Well,
what
it's
is going
also
on?
interesting because, again, we all are finding out how they've poisoned. I mean, our
Yeah.
food is
All the
poisoned and our
shit.
water is poisoned and
The fluoride, what the
all
hell
the
is
things
that?
we clean with are poisoning, poisonous. So it's just, I think it's making people mad that these rich billionaires and millionaires get rich on the way up, when we're on our way up and when we're on our way down. So whether
Right.
or not we are in the medical system on prescription pills
Yeah.
or we're stuck in a cancer treatment facility getting chemo, they're banking
They're
on
pay-
it.
Yeah,
They're
like,
banking on it.
and that's like Pat said. He said like hospitals need to fill their beds,
That's so sick.
so they're gonna. It's crazy.
It's really sick.
It's got to be a better system than that.
It's also interesting that everything's turned inside out. Like the healthcare system turns out really is just the sick care system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything that's meant to be, I guess, a positive or good for us seems to have the inverse reality, where it's
Right.
just actually the opposite of what they say.
Wake up.
It's really.
It's a wake
I
up.
know. Hey guys, it's so fun to wake up though. I'm having
Yeah,
a blast.
I can't shut it off. I do want to say one thing about the CEO that got murdered.
Okay.
They haven't found the
Say it.
shooter yet, right?
Right.
So I just want to, if the shooter ever comes across this video, and I doubt you ever will, I just want to talk to you.
Dream big. Dream big.
I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
Denzel already did this.
What do you mean?
Denzel, he played John Q. There's already a John Q. And what he did is he held an entire hospital hostage
Oh.
so he could get his kid treatment, so his
yeah.
kid would live, or some
Yeah.
like surgery.
Yeah.
It was one of his great movies from back in the day.
I don't know
But-
anything about movies.
Well, just to tell the shooter, like, Denzel already beat you to this.
But Denzel
So-
was acting.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
kidding.
saying.
Yeah. No, I think Ryan mentioned that too. Something about him having
John Q.
John Q.
Yeah. But
I'll have to watch it.
It's so, and you don't. So because I can't tell if maybe he's an actual assassin, maybe hired, or if
We
he's
have
just the
different theories.
father
Yeah.
of like a kid that got
Or the
denied treatment.
son of a mom that had breast cancer. I mean, there
Right.
could be so many. The reason I think that to me, he's so young.
Yeah,
He also didn't do everything exactly perfect. I think people are like, oh, he had a silencer and he, did this and
Right.
he didn't give his name and the way he stood. Maybe he's a guy from the military.
Yeah,
maybe
he could be.
Maybe he likes guns and he's always practice shooting. Maybe he's been planning this for the last 5 years.
Right,
You know what I mean? To me, I feel like if it was, which I'm probably way off, but I mean, I feel like if it was a hitman, it would just been maybe a little cleaner.
Well, see, I don't know. I get the feeling because
I
that's
think it's
what
cool
the
that he did it right on the street, though. I mean, not cool. I need to quit saying that's cool. But I mean, he just out in front of God and everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting too because like the news channels are getting their information from the cops, obviously, and the cops are like, well, he can't be a trained assassin because he left certain clues and this and that. And then I'm like, how much of that is the NYPD downplaying it so they don't look incompetent or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and another thing that's tripping me out about this whole thing is the fact that we always think we're so technologically advanced, like with police and facial recognition. And I mean, I watched so many documentaries about how the CIA and the FBI, like in multiple countries, have this technology where they can like get your feet. Yeah. Well, and they can recognize everybody's face, and then they just digitally match it to like license plates or anything you register. So it's interesting because it's like, well, maybe they're not as advanced, or maybe this guy's just
It seems like they're advanced
when they want to be.
It's for their agenda.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Just like if you think about the whole Israel situation, like they have the best intel ever.
Yeah.
And they miss these guys coming in and murdering people at a concert. You know? So,
just like they can't find or didn't ever have any information on the shooters of Trump. The assassination guy. Yeah. It is interesting.
Raises a lot of questions.
Or maybe they've just used all of this technology to spy on their citizens.
Well, they obviously have done that.
Right. But I mean, that's more of their focus than actual crime. Capturing criminals. I don't know.
Or it's like, or they're behind some of this shit.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not, coming out with answers. So
I bet China could find them. I bet if we asked China, they could find them.
Yeah. Hey, Xi.
Yeah. He probably could.
I got a favor of you.
But it's very interesting, this whole thing. And
the
United Healthcare.
I'm pretty intrigued by it.
The thing is that it's definitely brought attention to whatever he wanted it to. Yeah.
Dude, come on.
And so sad. Like,
can we change this? Can we change our healthcare system?
I know. Well,
already?
And can we talk about the changes? I mean, guys.
The
changes.
Forgot the rest.
Time can face the same.
There you go.
Changes. Something like that.
That's Bowie, right? David Bowie? Or he redid it?
He may have redone it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh gosh, now I'm gonna have to figure out who that is. I forgot. Somebody old school.
I could have swore I heard David Bowie singing
I was
that
thinking
song
the
at one time.
Beatles. Or I don't know. Anyway, no, but the changes in the administration. So how he has shaken
Already.
Oh my gosh,
It's getting to work.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because the more that they're coming out, like at first when he first started putting all the changes out there and who he wanted, everybody's like up in arms. Now I feel like a lot of people are even like some Democrats and some media.
We better work with
They're starting to get in out. They're like, hey, this actually feels kind of good and secure, and maybe we should have a whole system change.
Well, and I mean, my favorite so far still, and probably will be, is RFK. Like putting him in and that's why I'm saying, like, if the U.S. is spending so much money on healthcare and still dying years before other countries, like, let's get this guy in here. Let's make some changes.
Yeah, of course. Some changes. Well, and see, I think the Kash Patel pick is pretty cool.
Yes, I do too. That's another one of my favorites.
Because I didn't know a lot about him, but I've been like going back and looking at different interviews and stuff like that, and all of the stuff he said. I mean, my goodness, the people that are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's not playing.
And there's this one episode of Sean Ryan that he had Cash Patel on.
That I watched.
I need to find it because like I keep thinking it's a newer one, and then I'm seeing clips, but it's an older one.
I think it's like a year old or something.
Yeah, I need to find that one. And that's another thing with Cash Patel. He's very big into like what exactly happened January 6th.
Yes, and we all know that it's a setup.
Yeah.
And the fact that they keep pushing that, they are trying so hard to push that narrative about the Jan 6ers and not releasing them. Bitch, please, okay?
Bitch, please.
We know that you had people involved that left people in. Not only that, but for years before that, were in on these little, incel groups, like I always say, pushing their buttons, telling them, just like ISIS gets people to convert, our government did that for January 6th. I wholeheartedly believe that.
There's definitely some psyop going on there. Like, I don't see how all you gotta do is look at the videos of what went down, the Capitol Police letting the people in.
And the fact that Trump didn't say
none of
those
these people
things.
were armed.
No, they were. Some people were armed.
No. The only
maybe
person,
not the ones that went inside, but the ones outside some of them had guns.
I don't know about that.
Well, then you might need to look at different conspiracies because.
No, I'm just saying. As far as I know, the January 6th people.
They didn't have guns in Washington when they were all
the police
gathered.
Did.
No, but I mean the people.
No, the people. That's what they keep saying. It's like how if that's an insurrection, it's interesting how that can be an insurrection when nobody's, especially far right wing, Second Amendment people, and none of them are having guns. So how are they planning to overthrow the Capitol when they don't have guns?
I guess just numbers. It was a numbers
thing.
Only
one person got killed, and that was that woman who got shot by the Capitol Police.
Yeah.
That is the only. Only.
And then but what's interesting about that is for years they lied saying that all these people died.
Yeah.
Really, there were some suicides.
All these Capitol Police people died. They had the one guy who had a heart attack, and they were just like COVID.
I know.
Might as well have said he had COVID.
I know, because they were going to just line you up and register you as a COVID die. I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it has been so fascinating. I have such a weird feeling. Like spiritually and just because of everything being exposed. Yeah. But just to watch everything come to light. And even people that don't necessarily pay attention are starting to go, maybe there's something going on,
Yeah, it's and I like the Tulsi pick.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Mad Crush.
The blonde press secretary chick.
See, I don't know a lot about her.
She's really smart.
Yeah.
She's really smart. I've heard her speak.
Well, that's like when he had that Kayleigh McEnany chick. She was tough.
Yeah.
She didn't play.
I know.
But I like Tulsi. I like Pete Hegseth. Now that I know about it.
I like Matt Gaetz too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Which I'm starting to wonder because he nominated Gaetz, and then Gaetz was under investigation by Congress, and then. So Gaetz was out of Congress, and then they canceled the nomination, or he dropped out of the nomination.
He decided
so
to
I'm wondering if that's just to keep people off his back for investigating. Like, I don't know. Is that kind of some kind of strategy or something? I don't know.
I think that to me it just seems as though Gaetz had the more mature response that. This is getting in the way of what our big picture is, and it's so important that we change these issues that I don't want to take away from it.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
There's so many sex crimes and people investigating, and was she 17 and was blah, blah, blah. That's,
Well, and that's what I was going to say about the Pete Hegseth thing. Now he's coming after scrutiny for, sexual allegations and stuff, and it's, and I get that. We don't want shitty people running our government, but at the same time, there's got to be some kind of, line of people change.
And they do.
Pete's a good-looking guy. I guarantee he was knocking them dead left and right before he got married.
Right.
So it's okay,
Well, and it's also the problem is
nobody's
that
perfect.
We can't even. Yeah, of course. If somebody really did make those mistakes and stuff, that is one thing. We should move on. I mean, if they have established their life as a more mature, better person, right, and they're not continuously doing it like the P Diddy and the people like that that are entrenched in all this stuff.
I don't know if we want to let P Diddy slide.
No. know I'm saying he's a constant pervert.
Yeah,
whereas
I
like
know.
if you made a mistake or something.
Right.
Anyway, but it's also so difficult because everything's so politicized and the justice system is so screwed up right now that it's like you can't really trust when somebody comes out and says,
Yeah.
I was raped. I mean, it sucks, but just like the and not, I don't know if that's his
Well,
case.
yeah, that believe all women, like
Yeah, you can't do that.
Amber Heard kind of fucked that up.
Right, exactly. And the Me Too movement kind of fucked it out.
Yeah.
And also, like, who was that?
Amber Turd.
Who was that was coming out? Oh shit! I just lost my train of thought about Pete, and then never mind.
There was somebody else. Was it Matt Gaetz? No.
No, it was somebody before that.
Had allegations too.
Oh, the fighter McGregor.
Oh yeah, Conor McGregor.
So yeah, if you go and look at that, which I mean, nobody's shocked that he screwed screwed other people.
Cheated on his
like
lady.
hello.
Yeah.
But if you go and look at that actually and see that, she was hanging
She was all over
them,
him, right?
Not that doesn't mean you can't be raped,
right?
But still, she was in the mix and having a great time. And then what got me is that supposedly she had sex with both of those men.
That's what I heard.
And only one, the rich one,
got the allegation. Yeah, that she's going after.
Yeah,
isn't that something? Isn't that something?
She's like, I don't remember that one, but I do remember when McGregor did it.
Yes, I remember Connor though.
Yeah. And it's just frustrating to me. Just I hate, I'm sure it's uncomfortable.
It's very shitty.
Well, and as a woman who has been through that, it's really interesting to me when people come out and say, like, a lot of us women have had a bad night where we maybe shouldn't have screwed that guy.
Right. So dudes do it too.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure. And then you wake up with regret,
you're like,
or
damn,
you wake
I shouldn't
up.
have done that.
And I also have had the experience where men have been a little not. I'm talking about I've been in a very bad situation, but then comparatively to just like in a situation where the pressure's on and the guy's making too much of a move and you sort of give in.
Yeah.
That's not something that we should promote. We need to have our girls stand up for themselves and have our boys realize that they need to be respectful, which is what the society's done. We've turned that around. But to pretend like just because you were pressured into something or you may
doesn't
have
mean you were raped.
Does not count as rape.
Yeah,
to me.
no.
I'm sorry.
I hear you.
But
and
that's
it seems
totally
like it kind of started going down that
where
road
every
a little
single
more.
thing that we didn't like was going to be rape.
Right, yeah.
I don't think so. And that's really rude to people who actually have had a violent rape in their life because it's a totally different situation.
It's taking it away from them. That's kind of, and that's
so
bueno.
Yeah, so I don't think we should believe every single thing that comes out about people.
No, definitely not.
If you have 10 women saying the same thing all the time.
And which is, this is what they do anyway, is they start throwing out sexual allegations and assault allegations for people they don't like or want. They did it with Russell Brand.
Yes.
Just for talking truth to power.
Oh, and if they really don't like it, then they call you a child sexual predator.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, there's a playbook.
It gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
And when in reality, those people who are doing the accusation of child sexual assault they're the ones that are doing the child sexual assault.
I know. I know. And it's interesting too. I know we've talked about that a lot. Like the people in the highest of places.
Yeah.
And how money has corrupted their sexual brain so much. Like the deviance that supposedly. Like how weird is that?
You got to get weirder and weirder.
It does make sense though. Like I heard somebody talking about P. Diddy and they explained like if you're
he was getting booty so much.
Yeah, which I still can't really relate, but that he almost had to like go for the trans because it's even more, sexually perverted.
Yeah.
Because he can't get off on normal women anymore.
More debaucherous.
Yeah.
That's weird. Well, it kind of makes sense, and I could see that, like.
But it's when you get into the kids situation that's crazy.
Oh, dude.
But anyway, you were gonna say something about.
Well, I was just saying with the whole Pete Hegseth thing. It's like I was saying, people are a lot more wild when they're young, and they change and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens because when he was first nominated, I was like, what? The guy from Fox. And then I started researching into him, and I was like, oh wait, no, this dude's a badass.
Yeah,
he might be great.
What seems to be happening is that this entire 4 to 8 years, people have sat back and listened. Like Trump sat back and taken notes of the people who have had the balls to say out loud.
to say true.
what's happening.
Yeah.
And so he's gone after those people.
He's like, this is what's up.
Which is crazy because, I mean, it's wrecking the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, I guess because we didn't think about politics that much, but I didn't really think about how they kept the same people in to every single level of politics.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep going
It's a group, man. It's a cult.
Yeah.
Well, it's and then I had heard they were talking about trying to kind of, turn Elon and Trump against each other.
Yeah.
In some kind of weird strategy to get them to, because now I guess now they're buddies.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall with Elon and Vivek talking about like their strategies and what they're gonna do, and man, those two smart guys,
so smart.
dude. And something tells me that they probably click pretty well.
I like that Elon's so eccentric and Vivek isn't.
Yes, that's what I was thinking the other day. I was like, Vivek's super
traditional,
outgoing, and like very articulate with his words. Whereas Elon's just brilliant, but he's eccentric as shit. Yeah. But he's eccentric,
and he also doesn't have a traditional
balance
family.
Each other out.
Yeah,
to be
like
honest.
a married couple.
That's what I'm gonna. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but that's my guess.
But Elon's turning out to be an interesting person to watch. And I can understand why people on the opposite side are thinking like this guy has too much involvement. This billionaire, because he has these contracts. I get that.
No,
I understand it. However, people have always had contracts with the government. Brilliant people, just like Bezos and his grandfather and DARPA, and Bezos has contracts with the government.
Well, that's what they're saying, and Bezos actually just recently came out in favor of Elon and what these guys are doing. Yeah.
Shut up.
Bezos has been doing some interesting things.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah, Zuck.
Yeah. Oh, Zuck. Zuck's starting to get his shit together.
Both of those guys are kind of like.
Well, I was wondering when all this was going down, I kept feeling like, when is the good gonna outweigh this? Like, aren't we built? That's why we've been saying all these weeks. I'm like, people are made to be good. We're raised to be good people, and if you're not a good person,
hidden in the shadows.
Right? And why is it winning? Why is all of this stuff winning all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that people are starting to...
Tides are changing.
Yeah, so they're starting to come to their senses and go, oh, well, maybe we don't want America to go to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
Why would you want to do that?
And I don't get it either, because it's like...
And there's more of us than there.
You're a billionaire capitalist. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to destroy the system
that made you a billionaire?
That made you prosperous.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what happens. They start getting into that cabal shit.
Like, no more people can be prosperous after us.
Well, and I think a lot of them, just like the World Economic Forum, they think that they know better.
Yeah, those guys.
They get so rich, and they think they're so educated that they lose track that they don't know anything.
And have no common sense.
And have no common sense.
Yeah.
And have no conscience. What's that damn word? Conscience. Yeah.
Well, they have like... It's their bubble. They just get wrapped up in their bubble, and they don't understand what other people are going through. It's crazy.
That's what I was gonna say about the map. Okay, so you know how that map of the Trump voters was going around, and they were like all my friends that are mostly teachers. I don't know why teachers wake up, but they kept putting that map up like it was supposed to hurt everyone's feelings who voted for Trump, like you're not college educated. Right? Yeah,
that whole narrative.
Well, then I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, but just like Ryan said, that doesn't include trade schools, that doesn't include certification. It doesn't include a lot of the educational systems that are in place for like continued education. They're talking about like 4-year schools, like nice big schools, right? Because it does, right, Columbia, and Harvard and Stanford and all of that, and those are the people that voted Democrat. It's all around those colleges, right? So, but then I was thinking, isn't it funny, because they're not. So Democrats say that they have all these social helpful things for poor people or the uneducated, right? Yeah. Or the people that struggle, or the people that are in a other group that's not rich and able to get all these things.
Right.
So they're shitting on the exact same people that they claim to care about and to help.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, none of it makes sense.
No,
I'm like,
it
first of all,
doesn't make any sense.
you can be super educated and never have a degree. There are so many people
Yeah,
that are
no.
educated without a degree.
Yeah. From the beginning of time.
And how come these educated people don't see that they're only educated in one trajectory? Like, they haven't, you know what I mean? Like, they're in, like you said, their own bubble,
Right.
where they're not able to see outside that bubble.
And that's how it's been
Forever.
set up or
Yeah.
morphed into, and
Mhm.
it's wild, dude.
Yeah, the education
yeah.
system is brainwashing.
Yeah, there's so many people who have become self-taught and self-educated, like, and that's the thing, is there's so many, you know, very successful entrepreneurs that didn't even go to college.
I know.
You know,
Some of them have had to get a GED.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know.
it's pretty interesting.
So, and then also tech schools. You know, there are people that are very educated. They
Yeah.
just didn't go to Harvard. They
Right.
went to a tech school,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they're, you know, doing
Yeah.
something else in life.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the entrepreneurs that didn't even end up going to college. I think a lot of that is that these people, they were able to think outside of their
the
box.
Yeah, for sure.
And it paid off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
you
my
know,
hope.
I know. Like I said before, I feel like they're building the good version
Yeah.
of government. He's working on, Trump
And
is
it's
trying to
different,
work on building a good virtuous
Yeah.
version of government.
Well, let's hope
if
it comes.
that's possible.
Yeah, let's hope it comes quick, because meanwhile Biden's over here, you know, releasing missiles to
I
Ukraine.
thought you were going to say parting his son, but yeah.
No, well, we'll get into that. But
Okay.
yeah, no, like, and that was a while ago. We haven't done one of these in a while, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, that was a big story for at least a week. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's what, long range missiles,
Long range missiles.
so they can shoot them into Russia.
And they didn't put the nuclear power. No, that was Putin hit back with ones that didn't actually hold the nuclear power but could.
Mhm.
But yeah, the whole point is that, you know,
Why would you do that on your way out?
because I know, and he's doing that all over
What
the
a piece
place.
of shit.
I mean, we all knew he was going to pardon his son. Let's just say that. We all knew that.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, just shitting on and the experts say that he's going to continue to do this. He's going to continue to make it harder for Trump
Yeah,
to come in
and do all
and for
this
it to be a smooth
snaky
transition.
shit. Do all this snaky shit so they can continue to launder money out of fucking
Dude,
Ukraine.
but that guy's reputation,
Oh,
Biden,
dude, it's terrible.
Oh,
There's no legacy
that's
there.
rough.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's rough, and I say it like that because there is a part of, I think, society that feels for him, because there's been so many years where he hasn't been aware
And that was so important
of
to him.
what is going on.
Yeah.
He just seems like he's been the blind, you know,
Oh, yeah,
been
yeah.
led by the most evil people.
Well, and it's interesting
But
to
he
me
was not
because
the best person.
it's interesting to me too, because people like they're like, you know, these last couple of years he's been out of it and like and all this stuff, and then but like even before he started having the dementia and all that stuff, he was a fucking lying sack of shit.
He was a politician
Yeah, dude,
of
like,
every
all you got
stereotype.
and it trips me out that nobody, you know, a lot of people don't pay attention to that. And it's
Right.
like all you gotta do is go back and YouTube
Right.
like him plagiarizing shit and all kinds of stupid
He also
stuff.
was against a lot of things that hurt black people, that
Yeah,
hurt a
the 94
lot.
crime bill is terrible for a lot of people.
Yeah. He was in the drug situation
That's what
where,
I'm
the crack, where if you had a quarter-sized crack, you went to jail for 10 years.
20.
I mean, and that's the other thing. Yeah, you're right. Like,
crazy.
how come people can't see that? They've pulled, when people are busted like that on marijuana charges or having a
Yeah.
little bit of whatever,
A quarter bag of
instead
weed.
of not getting help, you know, not being able to get treatment and all that.
They get
When they
thrown.
took the fathers out of society,
Just lock them. Yeah, dude.
and mostly in the black population,
Yeah.
or I don't even like to say that, the poor population.
Yeah.
Meaning economically striving, strive.
People
We
who
grew
are
up like,
trying to get, you know.
there's alcoholics, there's more drug abuse, there's more depression, there's more suicide when you're that poor. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
to me, it's not necessarily a black and white thing. I think it's a
No,
poverty level.
it's really not. There's a
However,
lot.
it's true that there's a lot of black fathers that were arrested and put in prison for years and years
Yeah.
and years, like the population.
And
of a
now,
prison.
and Biden wrote that 94 crime bill, and him and Bill Clinton passed it. So I mean, why in the world would you vote for the same people?
Over and over again, never stepping out, because you're so conditioned.
That's crazy.
We're just so
I don't get
conditioned.
it. I don't get it.
Yeah, but I'm just glad that Yeah, because the MK Ultra type of stuff that I keep reading about. I mean, it's so true that society starts out by being brainwashed.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is what public school is about too.
It's like a mind imprisonment. You know what I mean? It's like they're imprisoning your mind.
Yes, they don't want you to think for yourself.
Yeah.
They don't want you to experience that. I think they all live off the enzymes that fear produce. I think that's what really gets them going.
Like that adrenochrome.
Yeah, because if you, just like the UFO stuff or just like any kind of false flags or COVID created so much fear in people that it paralyzed me. I was so terrified. I remember walking around going, holy shit, this might be we might all be dead next year from this pandemic,
I mean, I've never even seen fear on a level like that pushed.
I know.
Like, holy crap, they're scaring the shit out of everybody.
Which is exactly what the plan was.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that because we put off all these fear enzymes, it makes the powerful excited.
Yeah. It's exuberating.
Like the baby blood.
It's I don't know. COVID was something else, that's for sure.
COVID definitely changed my life.
There was that Peter Hotez doctor, and he was talking about how, there's probably more viruses that are
That's what we were talking
trying
about
to push
yesterday.
fear too. Like that guy's a douche.
Well,
and so people, and it's funny because Patrick Bet David was talking about it, and he was like, "We've got the Nostradamus of doctors over here predicting viruses." I thought it was so funny.
You know what's interesting about that, Russ? If you go back 10 years ago, I watched it. If you go back 10 years ago at the World Economic Forum 10 years ago, Bill Gates is on there talking about the next pandemic.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing that happened.
Same playbook, same.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember, I watched it then, like a long time ago. I remember watching it then going, this sounds like something that's going to happen. And how do they know it's going to happen?
Yeah.
And it happened. So my thing now is if they're dropping these false flags like the UFOs or the COVID coming down the pike or a new pandemic, or now they're doing the bird flu.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's happening.
The whole bird flu
They're going to do it.
Bird flu shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. It's
freaky.
Nutsos,
Freaky
man.
deaky.
It's nutsos.
But yeah, so let's talk about the pardoning. What do you think about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I get it.
You get the son thing, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I figured he was going to end up doing that. But I think what it was is that they expected Kamala to win, and then she was going to pardon.
So he didn't look bad.
So he didn't look so bad. But it's like, he's out there over and over again. I will not pardon my son. Every time he said, I was like, bullshit. You know what I mean? And then I feel the worst I feel for is cringe Jean Pierre, because she's on there going, he's not gonna pardon him, no, and then just totally made her look like a fool, which she's been looking like a fool. I know, I would hate that job.
It's the worst job ever.
That would be the worst job,
especially for Biden.
Yes, that's what I mean.
A liar.
Another president, not so bad.
Right.
But Joe Biden, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be his
Bless
press
her
secretary.
heart.
Yes,
she has gone through the ring. I know, me too. I was watching her up there, explaining, because Trump said he was going to go and persecute, so he had to pardon him this time. She was even embarrassed. She was like, yes, I did say that.
She kept saying he wrestled with it.
I know.
He wrestled with it. I think she said it
he
5
wrestled
times.
with it.
He really
did
wrestled
with
it.
I'm like, what? I know, it's sad, but that's all she knows to do.
Well, they say it's a blanket pardon too. Or
so this is what I want to talk about. This is what fucking pisses me off.
Go for it.
Okay, let me just fucking tell you something.
Get real deep into the microphone.
Okay. What is the media not, both sides of the media, they are not focused on the fact that he pardoned him for 11 years.
Right.
And he pardoned him for crimes yet committed.
See, is that what it was? Because I thought I heard that. I thought I heard he's pardoned him from almost ever getting in trouble for anything.
Yes. And to I promise you, read
it's to
read
save
it
his
again.
own ass.
But it's just wild that nobody's focused on that. That is the most important part.
It's to save his whole family. Because anything with Hunter that comes out is going to implicate Joe.
Of course, yeah.
And so
it will all come
really
out.
saving his own ass. And somebody said, I feel sorry for
But that's the injustice
Hunter.
to me, is that that he got to pardon him for that long.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know you
I didn't know you
did
And
that.
look at all the people that are innocently locked up.
January 6th. alone.
No, just people in general that don't ever get their fair day in court.
No, man.
And this guy's getting off on crimes he hasn't committed yet.
This kid is above the law.
Yeah, he's not a kid. He looks as old as his dad.
I call him a kid because they act like he's a kid. He's above the law.
Yeah, he's like the boys, like the Menendez brothers. They're still the boys.
Or he should be in. He could be in that movie Step Brothers.
Yeah, Biden.
Yeah,
I mean Hunter
Biden.
Yeah,
somebody needs to make a meme of that.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to make a meme with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, and then Hunter Biden up top.
Yeah.
Step Brothers.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there's another person that Biden could be the stepbrother with, that Hunter and somebody. But anyway, yeah, it's just, that's the thing that gets me, is that they're not talking about that undiagnosed pardon, like that, pardoning for crimes that haven't been committed yet.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then also the date, it's like 2014 until 2024.
Yeah. Well, you know what's weird is I thought, like, when they say that the president's going to pardon somebody, I thought maybe it was 1-2 people.
Yeah.
No, these guys will pardon like 1,000.
And all of them do it.
And I'm like, what?
All of them do it.
I think Barack pardoned like $2,000.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Well, Assange has he been pardoned yet?
No.
So he needs to be pardoned.
Of course not.
And Snowden,
yeah. And
needs to be pardoned.
And if he pardoned both those guys, that'd be
we
saying
would
a
really
lot.
trust.
Yeah.
People could trust again.
That would be saying a lot. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. If all of this stuff is being exposed, and we know that all of these people that are really high up, like the people that actually run the one world government, they've got to be shitting themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got to be going, holy shit, this entire thing could fall.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't think they're going to let that happen.
I know.
How would they let that happen?
I don't know.
If they've been controlling everything this whole time.
And their whole system
is it because the people
unless they want it to.
No,
maybe it's 5D chess. Maybe they want it to so they can do some other crazy shit.
Wow. Maybe. But, or it's just the power of the people and the power of God.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe the power of the people is a real thing, and we're like, we do outnumber these fucks.
Yeah.
And there is a Holy Spirit on our side.
Yeah, I just would think it would get a lot worse before that happened.
Oh, it's gonna.
And it's so funny because people are like, the whole MAGA movement, they want to call it a cult. And it's like, that's more of a revolution.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? That's not really a cult.
Yeah.
That's more of a revolution.
It's definitely going to go down in the history books as that. As a revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
How dare you want to make America great again?
I know, but I keep trying to think about the brainwashed people's perspective of what the puppet masters are actually feeding them, and how they're able to go, well, we need no borders, and we need an open world, and everyone should get along, and if you want to be
it's
this
naive.
and that... Huh?
It's so naive.
It is really
naive. To me,
naive.
it is. Personally, I'm you can't be that naive.
Right. That much of a dreamer that you can't understand.
Yeah, it'd be great if
but
you could do that.
maybe it wouldn't, too. I mean, maybe that's one of the points that I think God's trying to teach us, is that there is a reason for law. There is a reason for order.
Yeah.
There is a reason to celebrate.
Well, there's evil. There's evil
evil
people, man, unfortunately.
I know.
Unfortunately, man.
And it's so interesting that the most evil people climb the ladder.
Yeah, dude. Psychopaths.
It's weird.
Psychopaths,
so crazy.
Man.
But anyway, yeah. So the
Hunter pardon.
The Hunter pardon.
What was it? There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, why do you go blank now?
I know. I don't know.
Something else about the pardon. Okay.
But yeah, so that was interesting. And just all of the appointees that he keeps putting out.
This is what I was going to say. Sorry. So with the pardon is, there's a lot of people going back and forth, and they're like, will Trump pardon Jared Kushner's dad, Charles Kushner,
right.
and he pardoned this guy, and he pardoned Stone and everything. But apparently the difference is that those guys served some time.
Right.
Hunter's not going to serve one day.
Anytime. No, I think that you're right. I think most of the pardons.
Not his life.
I know.
What a lucky dude.
I'm surprised he's not dead yet. Honestly.
Man. He seems like he'd be fun to party with.
He does. He seems like a good time.
You know what I mean? Back in my party days, I bet we would have got along great.
Oh, God, y'all are one and the same.
Would have been like...
You are Hunter Biden.
Whoa.
No, but it is so interesting. And
he's an artist.
And he's not... You're the stepbrother.
Dude, it would be us.
It'd be you and Hunter.
Hunter, hit me up.
And then the book that dude can write one day. I want to read Hunter's book if he ever writes a real tell-all.
Yeah, it's so funny when people, all these successful people are like, yeah, I just wrote a book. And I'm like, did you write it?
I know.
Or did somebody write it for you? You know what I mean?
I know, I can't
They all act like, oh, I wrote this book and I got a new book coming out. And it's like, did you write that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And they all do it.
Yeah.
Melania Trump has a new book out, and apparently it's a bestseller.
Speaking of.
Yeah. Yes, and did y'all see that? I don't think you've seen it, but where they have Barron speaking.
Yeah.
And apparently he hasn't spoken since he was like 6, and it says, I like my suitcase. It's like some kind of meme they made of his voice when he was 6. But now they have him on tape with his real voice. He sounds just like his dad. But
yeah,
it's so funny. People are like scrambling to get his voice.
Sure, kid's tall, man. Jeez.
Dude, he's 6'7".
Yes. He's like Wade.
I was going to say, isn't Wade 6'7"?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Our
6'7".
brother-in-law.
I think he's 6'7".
He's really
6'6",
tall.
6'7".
Yeah.
It's insane.
Which our sister is 5.
Yeah.
So they look
I was telling
hilarious.
somebody at work the other day about that.
Yeah.
But
how does that even happen? A short person like that falls in love with a giant person? Tara, how does that happen?
Opposites attract. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but yeah, man.
So did you didn't get a chance to watch you said you listened to it. Tucker talking to the Russian
what's
military guy.
His name's Sergey Lavron.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation.
It was interesting.
Yeah, and they just their point of view, and I'm so grateful that people like Candace Owens and Tucker will go and get the other side.
We need to know,
we need to know.
Like you were saying, Americans are. No, Jimmy says that. Americans are the most propagandized people, and we don't even know it.
I know. Well, we thought that we were better than.
Yeah, we thought we had free speech.
That we've had all this stuff, I mean, kudos to all of the people that are doing the psyops. I mean, who knew?
Yeah.
I'm still flabbergasted at
know,
how crazy purposely brainwashed we've been,
Yeah, but I mean,
but maybe more so in the last several years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say. Is when you listen to like Sergey over here or Putin or something, if you actually listen to that and instead of falling in line with the narratives, you're like, these guys don't sound that bad.
Well, you know but their entire point is that in 2014 and even before that, they have a treaty in paper.
Yeah, we had a
No, but they have the laws that we abided by on paper, and we are the ones who keep breaking them.
Yes, I know it.
So it's
I know, and that's a lot of what he was talking about. And I was like, already, I know all this, but you start listening to the guy, and he's like, we would like to have good relations with the U.S.
Right. Thank God he said that.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing. And that's the thing. And he said, like, we understand that the United States citizens don't have shit to do with this crazy shit that these guys are doing. And he was just so reasonable. I was like, what? We need somebody in there talking to this guy.
Which is interesting because if you only listen to America, to what our messaging, we would all believe that they're crazy psychopaths that want to nuke us.
I know.
And the first thing Tucker, which props to Tucker, asked him was about nuclear war, and that man said, "We have no interest.
Right.
No interest.
Right. We're simply trying to defend ourselves if that's what we must do.
And they want to live a certain way.
Yeah, dude.
Which he was saying is the number one rule of the supposed UN, that's supposed to be this all wonderful thing, is that you're supposed to respect the way people are living.
Right.
And they've done on every single front that the US and the UN. What the hell?
Yeah, why? Let bygones be bygones.
And let the shadow
and work with them.
Well, and listen, it's just because a handful of globalist billionaires think they have it figured out doesn't mean that every other country wants to live that way.
I know.
And it's not fair.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Candace Owens says that it's Christianity. That at the end of the day, it's Christianity.
It's an interesting take on that. Dude,
I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on that, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They sound so reasonable, and I have a feeling Putin's just biting at the bit for Trump to get into office so they can actually talk.
I hope so. I think so.
These people are
because
nuts.
it would be like China putting their military right next to us.
I know.
And we wouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already here, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean?
It's just it's wild to look back and see the narrative that they've spun about Ukraine protecting itself.
I know.
And then you start listening to the
corruption
history
of Ukraine and how freaking corrupt it's been.
Dude,
it's like the number one sex slave industry between America and Ukraine. Like Ukrainian brides and all that stuff. All those kids missing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, what'd they say? 300,000 kids a year go missing in America alone.
Well, and like when they start war, all the kids go missing wherever they start war at. And that's where are those kids? And
like all those kids have families and parents and stuff.
I know.
Like
the fathers are off to war.
Why do we not hear about it?
I don't know. You talking about the American kids too? Yeah, I know. Well, I think you do. I think that people try. I think there's lots of mothers and fathers out there saying something. They're probably wondering why they're not on mainstream news every night.
Like it's
insane.
They want to talk about Hunter being pardoned instead.
I know. Or find the CEO instead.
Yeah.
Like find the kids.
Find the kids.
Did you hear about Ukraine? Well, he mentioned it on that same interview that they were lowering the age too. Ukraine is trying to lower the age of military because they've gone through all of their people.
Yeah, dude.
It's so weird.
And these people are like, we want to protect Ukraine. Well, dude, you're not. You're making everything way worse for these people.
And all of the beautiful structures and the reason why people loved it there destroyed. Fuck around and find out, America, because this is the problem. This is how we create enemies, is that all of this has happened on almost every other country, like real war, except for us. You know? And that's, in a way, that's not right. I mean, obviously, that's horrible all the way around. Yeah. But to sit over in some like big fat Americans over here, doing whatever we want, and all these people have died, in the Middle East and Israel,
dude, I know,
Russia and Ukraine and Syria. Well, Syria actually, I think is, I don't know, I don't want to say anything until I know, but I'm pretty sure the rebels that took over are a good thing. Yeah. But I don't know. Well, what's interesting too is I was listening to them talking about Libya and Gaddafi, and like how they really went after him when he decided to try to break away from the U.S. dollar. Yeah. And that was a big deal. Yeah. Because the international banking cartel, they know that. Yeah. There is that international banking cartel. I'm telling you. And they also own international land. It's the same people that own, after the wars get all bombed up and stuff like rebuild. That, they can, and they lay claim. America has laid claim to so many other country territory. And he said, too, that same interview, he said that the reason why we keep doing this is for resources. Yeah, no. And that he cared about people and not resources. Instead of, we want to take other countries' lithium and cobalt and because we have stuff like oil. That here. I know. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know. At some point, instead of putting that here in America and mining for it here and putting Americans to work, they want to go and destroy other countries to take theirs and destroy them. And use slave labor for greed. It's all greed. And it's not sowing into your own, it's just so obvious. If you sow into your own, like we could have mined our own fields and done our own growing and taking care of our own people and be so prosperous and healthy. Hopefully that's where we're going to go. What? Well, at some point in the 1930s, somewhere around there, things changed. It was also, I mean, it was way before that too, I know that. But I mean, when the actual stock market and trade and all that took Wall off. Street. Yeah, it has to do with finances a lot too. Yeah, it does. Well, that's what I wanted to say about the CEO being murdered too. Is like somebody had put a comment on social media and said, if you want to know who killed him, go look and see who sold all their stocks of United Healthcare. And I never thought about that. Like if a CEO of a major company gets murdered, then their stocks
it
would affect their
yeah,
stocks.
affects the stocks. And I never thought about that. And
Really? Because a
whoa.
lot of people will say that. People will say that about almost anything. Like when Nancy Pelosi sold her stocks off.
Well, when they said when Trump won the election, the stock market went up.
Trump. What were? Oh, God dang it! I'm gonna forget it again. We were just talking about the BRICS coin, the BRICS, right?
BRICS nations, yeah.
BRICS nation, but what's the currency that they're trying to predict? I thought it was called BRICS.
No.
Anyway,
you mean Bitcoin?
No. So the dollar, the U.S. dollar is like
universal.
Yeah. Well, they're also producing other countries like Iran, China, and Russia want to come together and create their currency,
their own currency.
So, which I have thought when I first heard about that, I thought, well, who are we to tell them that they can't do that?
Right.
Well, I still feel that way. But Trump's also now saying that the U.S. dollar will be the number one currency.
Right. They'll have to trade through that. Yeah. Well,
why do we get to decide?
See, man, but that's the thing, though, is, Trump's saying that, but, like, he's also willing to work with these other countries and cut deals and do negotiations.
Right. To keep the U.S. dollar in power.
Yeah, and maybe that's what he means by that. What's wild to me is finding out that, like, America thrived off of tariffs only without citizen taxpayer money for a long time.
Because we didn't pay taxes,
No, yeah, it was a lot of it was all, which I still don't understand the whole tariff situation a whole lot.
Well, I think it's just that so another country wants to sell goods.
Right. Then they have to pay extra to sell their goods or something.
It's like a big tax, yeah.
It's like they're paying taxes instead of the people.
Right.
What's so wild to think about that, like that we didn't have income tax for at least almost 100 years or something. I know.
Well, and that's another thing is I'm sure that could be reformed too. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah, it is.
But maybe we're on that trajectory of actual reform.
Hopefully, I don't know. Presidents, they last 4 years or maybe 8 at the longest, and then it's
such a pain.
Then we got somebody coming in like Biden did and completely undoing everything that Trump did.
In power,
and it's like, crap, dude. Like Trump did all these policies, and now he's turned around on day one, since they all like say day one. Yeah. And just completely undid all of his policies.
I know.
And it sucked, dude.
And so here's the thing is maybe this is a revolutionary moment where we won't be so opposite, where the common ground people have spoken. Right. And hopefully both sides can get to where they go, okay, well, healthcare is fucked up. Or these poisons are being sprayed on our food. Or like the things that really matter to the American people.
People are pissed. We need to fucking do something
about it.
People are
pissed. Yeah. Which I love.
Peeps are pissed.
So also, Hawk Tua.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so when you wrote something down, so did you watch something with her soon?
So I saw where she's being sued for a Bitcoin scandal.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Good for her.
What were you going to say?
I had seen a clip of her. And this is a little more personal, but I got to, thinking about Hawk Tua and how she became so successful.
Oh, okay.
And it really bothers me.
Does it?
Yes. Like, she
You're
doesn't
jealous?
bother me. Like, props to you, I guess, for... But, like, the fact that society blew this girl up and she's wealthy
she was
now.
Funny.
Yeah, she's wealthy. Yeah, just for talking about spitting on a dick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on?
Get creative,
There's people that work... Yeah, I know, right? There's people that work their whole lives trying to, build something or become successful. Mm-hmm. And sometimes don't end up doing that. And this girl's like, you got to spit on it. Yeah. And it blows up.
You know why? Because they've dumbed down society so much, and that's what was.
People are like, yeah.
That's what hit. They're like, yeah, that's viral, dude.
Yeah. Spit on his dick.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
Well, and another thing is like.
And good on her. Whatever, but she is, dude. It's backfiring. You got to look it up. Yeah. She's in trouble. She's being sued big time. She came up with Hawk Tua Bitcoin or something.
Oh my gosh.
And they made a big trade or something. And then it turned out to, of course, Bitcoins I still don't get, but that turned out to be not real. Yeah. And now she's getting sued. So her 15 minutes of fame's gone.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh wow, okay.
Because she just had a talk show. Mark Cuban
that's what I think it was. Yes, dude. And that's why I was like, what?
That guy's weird.
She's right up there with Bad Baby and shit. Dude.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah, she made
it's so
money.
And that's the thing too is when you and I guess she's of age, but when I was over here, like, you got a teenage girl talking about spitting on a dick and she's blowing up.
Well, that's probably why she was popular too, because she looks like a teenage girl.
Yeah, she does. She looks young.
Because God, we have to have teenage girls. Screw grown women.
And so she blows up and then gets big and starts making all this money doing these, podcasts with like creepy ass Bill Maher.
You just sound like a bitter woman right now.
Dude, come on, man. Like
she had that one viral moment.
She had her 15 minutes, I guess.
It is crazy how we're all set up to do that though.
I just was
one
like,
viral moment.
Yeah, not a fan of the whole situation.
Yeah. Well, and when she was on, the only time I ever saw her was when she was on that fucking weirdo guy's podcast.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, and it was so uncomfortable. And she handled herself so well, and she was really charming.
She did, actually.
And I was like,
she is.
She must have had the X factor a little bit, because turns out she's kind of charming and funny, you know what I mean? But bless her heart.
Of course, Bill had to get her on. Ugh. He is the creepiest old guy.
I heard that he's going to quit his show, I heard.
Probably because he's so creepy.
Yeah, he said he can't do another 4 years of Trump.
Oh, Lord, man. All y'all, get out of here.
Bye.
Everybody.
I know. And then, Ellen moving.
Yes, Ellen. That's the thing, is like, now Trump's in office, or he's about to be in office. These people are actually hightailing it out of here. What are you trying to hide from? What are you running from?
Diddy and Epstein, man. I cannot wait for that list. That detail, and it better, if Trump, I'm telling you what, if nothing happens and these details and all these things don't get exposed, I'll never believe in another government ever. I'll never. I will actually remove myself, not from the U.S. because it's a great place to live, but to my little farmhouse that I want, and I won't engage with society.
Right, dude. I already don't want that.
I know.
And that was an interesting thing too, is Kash Patel was saying the FBI does have Epstein's black book. Yeah. And they will not do shit with it. Yeah, well, and it's also a theory too. Well, not a theory, but fact that, back in the day before everything was on computer and we had such a movement of information and stuff, they could hide a bunch of stuff for 20, 30 years. No, I know. And now things are like, we're ready to see it now. And so they're like, oh, shit. We can't really pull the wool over everybody's eyes all the time. Like we used to. Yeah, like we used to do. Holy crap, the internet's all over the place. That's why they say knowledge is power. It is. Well, and that's what makes the difference. Well, used to make the difference in society is if you were the first group of people that could get the most knowledge. Yeah, to know that it moved you up in society. Right. Well, and this is another thing, is I was watching a video clip on this morning, and it was showing a guy talking about, the tombs and the pyramids under the water, like under the ocean, and then they were talking about like all this stuff from like, millions of years ago, not hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago. And it's like, that's all I want, is to know the secrets, dude. I want to know what is going on, what this universe really is, all that. And it's like these people who are in power, like these super wealthy families that have been around forever, they've got the knowledge, so they have the power. Exactly. But it's like, share it, dude. But they don't want to. I know, but how do they get a whole family to stay secretive? Down. I know, right? I'd be the rebel in the family going, guess what? Yeah. But there have been, and if you really want to educate yourself, like Candace, I watch her a lot, and I keep repeating her, but it's because she's so helpful, because she reads a lot. Yeah, so she'll have a list of books that she recommends reading that's all over the map, so that you can pull it all together. And she's talking about doing a whole history show of real history. Yeah. And going all over the world and seeing the perspective from every other country. Yes. That's all I want. At this point, I don't care about anything else but traveling, going to experience other cultures. Really? Yeah. I don't have that desire. Oh, dude, I do so bad. I always have. Go see megaliths. Go just be there. Yeah. And be it. I think it'd be so amazing check out the pyramids there in South America. Yeah. Go to Peru. Go to go to Japan. I'd like to check out Japan. If you're serious, and I know you are, there are a lot of people that will save like half a year to be able to go on one trip. We're gonna get where I'm gonna make it happen. Oh, I know, but I'm just saying there are ways to make it happen. That shit's fascinating. Like,
Yes.
especially when it comes to ancient civilizations and archaeology and like
Yeah.
shit that's been here forever that
Yeah.
we don't really know the answers
I
to.
know.
It's
It's really
fascinating.
important too. I don't think
Fascinating.
we talk about it enough, and people don't really get into it enough, like kids,
Yeah.
because it takes you out of your own head to where you're like, man, people have just been here for so long and have
Right.
done so many
You
different
realize
things,
how
and I'm
small-
just a blip on the
Yeah,
map.
how
But
small you
also
are.
make that blip as important as you can.
It's
you know.
interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's interesting.
I also am super stoked about, well, they keep saying these UFOs, and now they're saying drones.
Yeah. So
Well,
now they're saying drones.
So the New Jersey thing, I think it's probably a different country or our own country.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you mean? New Jersey's a different country?
No, sorry.
Just kidding.
No, the drones that are flying over
Yeah,
New
it's
Jersey.
another country.
I don't know that it's an alien.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, we're right.
But the reason I'm saying that is because it is interesting to think about this government now and how they've been open about these UFOs.
UFO, I know.
And I'm
Which
like,
is also
is
strange.
that? I mean, is
little
this not
sketchy.
just another false flag?
Or fear porn, more fear porn.
To release the fear enzymes that they
Yeah.
all feed off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, like fear porn to make people scared, because when you're scared, you can't do anything. When
Well,
people are in fear, they can't think right. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
there's got to be some truth to that shit, though.
Well, of course, people have been seeing this shit forever.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't release everything.
Yeah.
Well, they still haven't released anything, but just them acknowledging it and letting certain things slip out. It's like, again, like you said, where's the knowledge? We want to know the information.
Yeah, I want to know what's going
holding
on.
the information.
I want to know.
Because it only makes people create their own stories,
Yeah.
or makes people scared, or makes,
Or it feeds misinformation.
misinformation. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also
so tired of that
hard.
word. Yeah, so tired of that word.
But anyways, there's just so much going on. And in the midst of all of it and how much we're into it, and I do like to keep up with it, I just am like super stoked about God. I'm super stoked. I really think this is about Jesus. I do. I think it's about, I really do think this is about, we're going to see a lot of people turn towards Christ, and also just spiritually. I think people have gotten way more in touch with that in the last, when has COVID? And since after COVID.
24 years.
Because they've been up and down, up and down. We've all been on this roller coaster of emotions, and people are looking for stability and truth.
Comfort.
And real, but just truth.
Well,
Things that have
comfort
never
in God,
changed.
you know.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's exciting.
Huh. Well, it is very interesting, when Candace is talking about, Christians being persecuted like they have.
And they have forever.
Which is very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she was saying too with in Iraq, when we went in and bombed Iraq because supposedly they had nukes. She said there were
So
Christian
many Christians.
churches that got hit,
And
targeted.
that's what I'm saying.
And I'm like,
like there's something in
why?
the name, right?
Yeah.
Like why Christianity?
yeah, I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
I think it's because that holds truths, Unfortunately, the men still mess around with those truths, and there's a lot of things that we don't know,
The Vatican doesn't get bombed.
Exactly. Ooh, good
Interesting.
point, Russ.
Interesting.
That's true.
The Vatican's creepy to me now.
I know it's very creepy.
Now it's creepy.
Well, there's again so much information, so much control.
What do they know and how?
Uh-huh.
That's power and knowledge
Yeah.
right there. They got so much.
I know, and nobody touches it.
No.
Just like Israel.
Because they'll
It's
kill
weird.
your ass.
It's like there's certain sanctified things that don't get messed with.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
I'm excited to find out, though. I think it's all gonna come.
I'd like to know.
Yeah. Well, and what I was
What's
gonna
going
say too about that is like I was thinking the other day how there's like I said like devil's manna versus God's manna, and manna is the food that fell from heaven.
Oh.
So it was just a story. That's how God would feed his people in the
Yeah.
Old Testament. Like
Yeah.
if they were out marching, and I can't remember exact stories, of course, now, but that he would feed them with manna. So it was basically food from heaven.
Mm.
So whatever that means to you, whatever you read and interpret, food from heaven. To me, I was thinking about how if we go the godly way, or we try to focus on those truths that are always truth, that have never been any different, like good produces good, all things work together for the good of those that love him, like all these facts about being a decent person and doing for others and how that rewards you, and what you reap you shall sow, like all those facts, you tend to live a life that is actually, even if really screwed up things happen, you tend to stay the course in a life where you're fed nourishing things and you grow in a positive way. Where if you live in this life where it's all about money, it's all about sin, it's all about sex, it's like the devil's manna. Like, you might be successful on the devil's manna for a while, but eventually it's destruction. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
That's very interesting. That's deep. It is so. Seriously, it's deep.
Well, yeah, because I was thinking about like P. Diddy and, you know, all these people, and they even talk about God, or they'll say they're Christians, or they'll represent God, but their actions and the things that they do aren't good and godly things, so they can't ever they succeed in like the material world, but they won't succeed for long. I mean, we're seeing
they're gonna fall eventually. Like P Dizzle.
No, he's a freak, dude.
I hadn't heard a whole lot about that.
I don't know that there have been some more interviews, and P. Diddy came out saying that he thought that the FBI was now spying on him in jail. So he's making all these arguments.
Probably so. Who knows, man?
But don't you think some of them are also involved in that kind of stuff? So that's what I mean. Like, these higher up, these upper echelons, and the things that are starting to be exposed, they gotta be.
Oh yeah, they gotta be. They're part of the club. Yeah. I don't know.
It's gonna be neat to watch.
We'll see what happens.
I know.
It's exciting.
I know. It's
interesting.
So exciting.
That's why I like talking about it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad that we got to sit down and do this. And
from our little, we had a little holiday hiatus. We might have.
We'll probably
another
do
week or two.
Yeah. Probably,
and then once the holidays are over, we'll get back to bullshitting about stuff we don't know about.
Yeah, that we have no idea what's happening. And
for entertainment purposes,
we are trying to do a little bit more research. I think both of us have, said that we're going to sit down and do a little bit more research on some of these topics. But we still would love for you guys to comment and interact with us. And we
correct.
We go back and read all of those comments that are left.
Correct me, I dare you.
Yeah, right. I'm just kidding. But have a very happy holiday, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Be with your family, and, be with your friends and the people that love you.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Deuces.